Welcome everyone to Nerd TV for a full throttle sim racing Martin Sports Truck Series race. This time coming at you live from the simulated Richmond Raceway, of course, on the iRacing service. And these guys are going to tackle 200 laps tonight around this 3/4 mile short track raceway here. Weather on the track, 78 degrees in the air, 59% humidity. Partly cloudy, which seems to be the theme all summer long so far, and a little bit more winds that we saw in the last few weeks. 6 miles an hour winds. And on track, the coolest we've seen it probably in 2 months. 83 degrees starting in practice. And it's only going to cool off from here as these guys are on track right now at 7:25 Eastern. So this race will finish underneath the lights. So not too many times we get to see the day to night transition, and it's going to be a fun one. My name is Jeremy Stanley, and then to my right-hand side in the middle here is going to be Jason Rockefeller again. How's it going tonight?
I feel like I'm talking to a whole different person. You got no glasses on tonight. That's a little odd. I've never seen you without glasses on, but man, Richmond, this is actually one of my, just like Chicagoland, this is one of my probably most driven on and one of my best racetracks on the iRacing service. I think I have like 2 official C-Fix wins here, but nevertheless, I feel like I could always get a grasp on this track, similar to like how Kevin Harvick does at Atlanta, or even here. He can run the bottom and wrap it very well. I feel like I could do pretty much almost the same thing. I don't know why. Just me and Richmond just click very well here on the service. So, I mean, we'll have to see how tonight goes, though. I'm really excited. Trucks are always one hell of a show here, especially on iRacing.
It's just a really, it's a rhythm track, right? Because the front straightaway is just a massive corner. There's a very tiny straightaway they try to call the backstretch, and it's just a lot of just very smooth on the wheel, and you know that's something that these guys are gonna have to try to get. And then turn 4, especially on corner exit, there's always tire spin. There's always some person that likes to spin and cut down the grass there on the front stretch, so it's bound to happen again tonight. And then also to your right is going to be Dustin Loxton, our producer tonight. How are you doing?
Hey, switching gears, going from the long 2.5 mile tricky triangle to some short track racing. Yeah, I love it. I'm always a fan of short track racing. Always have been, so it's always good to see these guys coming here. Interested to see how these drivers going to do it. We know Richmond can pose challenges at short track racing. Not a lot of room, minimal grooves here. So it's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do. Tire management's going to be a big one. These guys are going to be ripping it pretty hard. Fast times up on the board so far. So it's going to be interesting. Waiting to let these boys just rip it.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes left in this practice session, and times right now, there's a couple guys in the 0.5 second bracket, only 1 in the 6, and then everyone's 7 on back. A little more spaced out than I expected here at Richmond. Usually I see at least the top 15 all within 0.2 of each other, but it's a little more spaced out. But it doesn't really mean anything. You can be a hot lap here at Richmond and not have a good long run setup. So especially with it going underneath the lights, it'll change the complexity of this race.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen time after time and time again, especially here at a racetrack like Richmond, ever since they really stopped putting on the sealer after, I want to say it was about the 2003 or 2004 season. These cars handle very differently in the day compared to the nighttime. You could have a badass fast race car in the daytime here, or even at dusk, but then right when the lights come on and it's fully cooled down, the temperatures dropped a ton. I mean, the track temp's only 80 degrees right now, and it's going to drop eventually. By the end of this race, I wouldn't be surprised if we get down into the low 70s more than likely. And trucks obviously tend to handle a lot differently. You tend to get a lot tighter at night compared to the daytime, where the sun is beaming down on the racetrack, creating that hot, slick surface that we're all used to. So we'll have to see here who's got the best setup for what would be probably the long run, because you're going to have to set your truck up for the nighttime if you want to do good here. Sacrifice some daytime speed in order to be good in the long run at night.
Yeah, 100% here as we're about to kick it over to qualifying. Our 2-point leaders right now, Cody McKinney and Richie Coy. Cody sits P3 on the practice board. Richie Coy sitting P7, only 2/10 separate those guys, but checkered flag is out. That means we are going to qualifying. we're going to say goodbye from our cameras. We'll catch you on the post-race side with those. But now we're going to see the practice winner, Peyton Howell. We're going to see what he can do around this track once he loads on the surface.
Ed Payton obviously was very fast last week at Pocono, got involved in a couple incidents there, being one of the newer drivers here to the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series. But this is a track that's to his liking. He's very strong at the short tracks. We'll have to see what he does here. You're going to see outside diving it down just as I remember it here on these servers, especially here at Richmond. He'll take that opening lap, and this is probably going to be so much of a throwaway lap, but still it's going to be a lap that he wants to try to make sure that it's just as good as the second one, if not better. But down the back straightaway, make sure that you can just kind of coast into the corner. Want to hook that bottom right off the corner. Don't slide up too much. And you can see right there already throwing away his first lap. Didn't like the way it was going to be, and he's going to have to restart. He's going to be coming down to the white flag here once he gets off pit road coming out of turn number 4. So Peyton's really going to have to be on the binders. He's going to have to be very smooth and careful on his last lap here in qualifying.
And this is going to be on complete cold tires here. Does not have the beneficial lap there of getting them warmed up. Runs the high groove through here. Great heads up there to realize he's not going to make the time he wants. Hit the brakes before the start-finish line and to reset the truck. But here we go. Hugging almost the yellow line, just about a foot off of it or so. Nice exit on corner. Coming to turn 3, you want to hug the bottom here as much as you can and then get back on the throttle without having any type of tire spin. Comes to the line, and this is going to move him up to P1. Basically matched his practice time. He beat it by just 1/100th of a second. And actually, Andrew Navarro, newcomer here in the number 43, he's going to be P1 on the chart so far.
Yeah. Yeah. This is amazing to see. For all the folks who don't know, Andrew Navarro, one of the guys who's teammates with Peyton Howell and Kenny Brady on the esports side of things when it comes to iRacing. And he's competing in the eNASCAR Road to Pro iRacing Qualifier Series. Andrew, top of the boards right now, but we were talking right before we went on the air and went through pre-roll, and I was telling Andrew, I was like, he's like, I don't have a 43 scheme or whatever it is, and I was like, just duct tape the number, just see what you can do. And sure enough, he put a duct taped number 3 on the side of that truck. So that's pretty funny and clever of Andrew to do that. That's actually really, really funny. Probably I would laugh my ass off if I wasn't on the broadcast right here. So good job by Andrew Navarro, but a good job by a lot of these drivers. Cody McKinney, Richie Coy in the top 5 so far here in qualifying. And they've practically ran away Jeremy with the Season B title. They've separated themselves by over 100 points over the field practically, which third place right now in the point standings is Brody Hanna, who's back by 102 points. And Richie Coy and Cody McKinney currently only separated by 4 points, with McKinney leading. So those two, the championship hunt still continues for this Season B title between those two, and they're really going to be close here in qualifying.
Yeah, these guys have 5 races left, including tonight, and it is a 4-point battle. It is the Cody versus Richie show in 2023B. What I'm kind of curious to see, and what the notes I'm going to take from this race tonight, I know some of these guys are not here for points, that being the newcomers. For the Nerd Motorsports camp, Andrew Navarro, Peyton Howell, especially Peyton Howell. He had a pretty rough race last week. Kind of got parked by the admins. So he's doing some overhauling on his end to try to clean that up a little bit. But he is fast once again. That was a hell of a race they put on for us last week too. But Cody McKinney, I am really surprised. He is keeping up with them, man. He is putting some serious pressure on these two right now. And if he can maintain that long run, which Cody McKinney, he knows how to keep a long run set up underneath him. This should be a really fun Richmond race, especially in the top 10. I think there's just so many fast competitors here tonight. And right here on the IROC 93.5 cockpit cameras here, Richie Coy on the upper half of that screen there, and then Kenny Brady, last week's winner, on the lower half, looking to try to get it done again.
Yeah, and Kenny was obviously really, really fast. And there's Cody McKinney. And I want to say that's Peyton Howell right there, but that's actually Andrew Navarro right there. His camera is a little bit offset currently. You're looking at a door. So that's actually what's really behind the wheel tonight, is that white door in the background for Andrew Navarro's camera. But McKinney, you see him, he's ready. He's locked in, man. He knows that it's going to be coming down to Richie Coy between those two here in just the next few weeks. I mean, this is the 9th race of Season B, and after tonight's race, only 4 races remain for the Season B championship here, Jeremy. So if Cody McKinney wants to try to beat out Richie Coy, he's going to have to be just as consistent as he's been all season long. But Richie Coy has been right there waiting in the wings, and he's also outdone Cody McKinney sometimes. So hopefully we'll have to see how that battle goes on tonight, and it should be a good one.
Pun for you here. That camera angle was adorable. But
You're funny.
Andrew, we're gonna go to the starting lineup here for tonight's Richmond 200. Andrew Navarro, aka the White Door in the Room, is going to be starting P1. Peyton Howell is going to be P2. Cody McKinney in 3rd place. To his outside and 4th is Richie Coy. Stephen Hollingsworth will be on row 3 on the inside. Brandon Gagnon, who started his FTSR career 2 weeks ago, took off last week, and he is back again here tonight in P6. Tyler Brown's going to be starting at 7th. 8th place, Brandon Elder. 9th place is going to be J.P. Burns. And on the top side, the end row 5, T.J. Bartell.
Top 20, you got Lane Allen there, starting 11th. Starting 12th, Marshall Johnson in the number 9 Toyota machine. 13th, Sylvain Jolly in the 08. 14th goes to Sherwood Williford in the 33. 15th, our boy Ryan Chapman in the 27, as always. 16th goes to Joey McKinney and his Toyota Tundra. 17th, Colby Mice. 18th, Kyle Milliken in his yellow 42. And then 19th is Tony Solari out of Fury Motorsports. And then Nerd Motorsports driver Kenny Brady, last week's winner, Pocono.
21st, Jeff Chandler. 22nd, Curtis Volmerth. 23rd, Michael Blackner. 24th, you'll find Justin Diltz. 25th, which I don't think Brody's gridding up, will be 25th technically. Alan Duranco, 26th, who is on the track. And then Casey Lowe to end this 20, I guess it's going to be 26 truck lineup here once again for the Richmond 200 for the 8th race in the Martin Sports Truck Series here for 2023 FTSR. These guys should be doing 2 pace laps because it being a short track, and then we're going to see some action-packed race. You already see the sun starting to creep down a little bit. It is 7:47 p.m. in the session, so give it about an hour into this race. We're going to see the lights kick on. The sun's going to be down. The track's going to cool off, and then it's short track, nighttime racing.
Yeah, it's got that short track Saturday night feel that the FTSR boys have always put on a show on short tracks. I really do expect, obviously, we know the guys over on the eNASCAR side of things, they're going to be very quick here tonight, but I really do expect Richie Coy to be very, very stout here tonight. He's been a guy who's completely shown a total dominance on these short tracks here. I expect Richie Coy to probably do something here tonight with that run.
Oh, he's excellent here, Richmond, no doubt. And so him starting in the 2nd row on the outside. And once again, in new colors, by the way, this guy has got inspiration from the foods he eats from the fridge. You saw last week with his Fritos. Now he's got ballpark hot dogs. And let's see if that truck is a hot dog of a machine to get himself into the victory lane here tonight. But he's got a tall, our producer Dustin, I'm here. I'm not calling it this. It's only Dustin. He's calling it the Wienermobile. So it's not Oscar. It's ballpark. So it's a better version of the Wiener.
Oh my goodness. Dustin's always got something clever to say sometimes.
Only sometimes. 60% of the time, he's got it down all the time. Pace car is down at 42.3. Taped up machine. Getting the green flag here. His teammate Peyton Howell there in the 53 is going to give it up entirely for corner exit, going a little wide in that corner. Now him and the 28 of Cody McKinney side by side. That 43 of Andrew Navarro is going to take off about 2 truck lengths. Heads off into turn number 3. The 5 of Stephen Hollingsworth shoots the 19 of Richie Coy up the track. That's going to allow the, I think the 38 there, no, the 5 there of, no, I got those numbers mixed up. All right, the 00, Tyler Brown, he's going to pass Richie Coy here. It's going to drop Richie back to 6th place. Peyton Howell falls back to 3rd as they go to 3.
Yeah, and you saw right there heading into turn 2 last time around, Peyton Howell, he was able to pinch Cody McKinney all the way down on that yellow line, but ultimately on the exit at 2, McKinney was able to get by Howell. Now they single file out for those first few spots as Andrew Navarro, 22.006, fastest lap time on the racetrack right now, only 2 laps in. We head further back through the field. There is, oh, we got one car sideways on the back straightaway. That was the number 11 of Tony Solari. He was able to save it. So good job on his end. Kenny Brady gets around him. Jeff Chandler, a guy who was very strong last week. You see him back there a little bit loose, almost up into the wall that last time around. He was able to save it, though. Everybody's still single file, just fighting the handle of these trucks right now.
Yeah, if they're fighting a little loose right now, that's no problem. They got stage 1 to figure it out, and then the long run for stage 2. Of course, FTSR splits it basically 1/3. Come down pit road, and you run the other 2/3 of the race. No exception here. These guys really quickly single filed out within this top 10 and even beyond that, really. As these guys just looks like they're just kind of logging laps so far. Don't know exactly what these long runs are going to entail. We've seen quite a bit of cautions the past few weeks, so we haven't really truly seen a good long green flag run, and this might be setting this up for this race here tonight.
Yeah, Richmond tends to really be a long green flag run type race. I mean, you don't really ever see anything happen unless it's really on the restarts. You see a lot of guys wheel spinning with the right rear off turn number 2 and kind of just gets loose and just spins to the inside. You saw a lot of guys hit the wall also on the exit of 2, and then sometimes off turn 4 you can have guys get loose just because they drive so hard on the right rear off turn number 2, and then they're driving so hard on the right front off turn number 4. You can just get loose, you can get tight, it doesn't really matter, especially if you get back too early on the throttle. So that can really play a factor. A lot of these guys have to set their pace for these long runs, and right now Cody McKinney showing some strength right now all over the back bumper of Andrew Navarro on the 43. That could be a battle for the lead here in just a few moments.
Yeah, Cody's showing some really strong short run speed here, only coming up to lap number 9. Already up 1 spot from where he started and putting some pressure on that 43, as Peyton Howell has dropped about 5 or 6 truck links behind these two here. And then 00 Tyler Brown, another 6 or 7 truck links behind 3rd place Peyton. And that's where the 00, the 5, and the 19 are having a pretty decent battle themselves inside the top 10.
Yeah, this is a great battle to look at right now. Stephen Hollingsworth, he's a driver who's been very, very solid all season long throughout A to B. And here he is right now running inside the top 5, trying to get around Tyler Brown, who's also been another driver who's been kind of a hit or miss. He went on that little streak for top 3 finishes in a row just a handful of weeks ago, and here he is inside the top 5 trying to continue on with the strong momentum he's had here so far in Season B. But right back behind him, you have Richie Coy, Brandon Gagnon there in the 38 machine, almost a near win at New Hampshire in his debut for Nerd Motorsports. And back behind him, JP Burns, TJ Bartel, Brandon Elder, the top 10. A lot of guys just trying to make some moves early on.
Yeah, Brandon Elder, not surprised to see him. He's continuing, like I said, for the past month. I've really been happy with how he's been running in qualifying, and he has found some long run speed this season. About 4 or 5 races in, he has just found a rhythm, and on the high side too, for that matter. So, which Richmond, if it's not 2007 daytime Richmond, there is no highline here, and these guys are not even in the Cup Series. So less power to bring them around the corner, and somehow this 51 has managed to stay at 10th place, running the 2nd and 3rd groove with this 51 truck.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful, Jeremy, that he doesn't really burn up the tires, especially on that right side, because, I mean, the more you run up there, just like right there, he got loose into turn 3. And if he keeps doing that, he's going to burn up those right sides a lot quicker than he thinks. And Lane Allen right back behind Sylvain Jolly got loose in front of Ryan Chapman. He's able to save it. And they're in front of Kenny Brady, who's continuing to march his way up through the field, +6 so far, trying to gain some more spots. Decided to do the back to the front challenge here tonight. Did not opt to do a qualifying lap here tonight. But yeah, Brandon Elder's got to be very, very careful if he keeps on running up on that outside lane, because he's going to burn them tires up in a hurry.
Yeah, Kenny likes to have this challenge set for him right now. He's already up 6 spots, looking to get 7 and 8 here from the 14 and now the 27 of Ryan Chapman. This will move that truck up to 12th place if he can clear the 27 through turns 3 and 4. He's got a nose on him. Comes on corner exit, a little wobbled there, but still makes the pass happen on the scoring pylon. So up 8 spots for that 54.
Yeah, and the 54 was very, very fast last week. If it wasn't for Peyton Howell getting involved in a couple incidents, maybe we would have been talking about Peyton Howell at the end of that race. But Kenny Brady was able to last the longest, and he went home and took the checkered flag at Pocono. Here he is tonight, slowly making his way up towards the front of this field, getting past Ryan Chapman. So he sits just a couple positions shy of the top 10. He has to work around Sylvain Jolly and Brandon Elder inside the top 10. But meanwhile, back into the second position, Cody McKinney falling off from Andrew Navarro a little bit, back into the clutches of Peyton Howell, as Howell looks to try to make a move down to the inside here when they exit too.
I've been watching corner entries here from that 53 truck for the past couple laps, and he is utilizing that right rear way more than this 28 is, and that's going to do nothing but good if you can manage it, of course. You don't want to overuse the right rear, else you're not going to be able to even handle it around this track at speed. But if you manage it enough, it's going to equal out the tire wear amongst all the tires on your truck and really going to carry you in this long run. And right now, 20 laps in, you're starting to get a grasp of how your truck feels. You can kind of know at this point if the long run is going to be there or not. And it looks like the 52 has something, but it's kind of hard to pass the Richmond, right? You have to have that rhythm, get the corner exit. Turn 2, that's probably the best place to get a launch off someone. Get down to the turn 3, because turn 1 is so much harder going down the straightaway because it's so curved all the way around through. It's easy to block the lane, and so 52 is there. He just has to make the move.
Yeah, and you see him right now going to the inside of Cody McKinney here. He's more than likely going to get this position made right here off turn number 2, possibly, if Cody McKinney doesn't choose to fight him, in which he will actually. They're door handle to door handle down the back straightaway as they look over and through the horizon. You see Andrew Navarro kind of scooting away further and further, now more than a second and a half up the road from these two guys. They continue to battle, but into turn 1 here, Peyton Howell looks like he's going to have the advantage. He's actually going to clear Cody McKinney for the second spot.
There it is. Now it's a second and a half between the 53 and the 42, 3, whatever you want to call it there. But Cody is not letting go. As soon as he got past, he's just going to maintain. But right there, you see that center corner speed through 3 and 4. That's where Peyton is just so much stronger. He gained over a truck length of gap just in the center of that corner alone. We're going to see come through 1 and 2. I think Cody's able to maintain a little stronger this time. We're going to go through turn 3 and 4 one more time and look at their gap here just to see where that difference is. And they're just about center splits at another gap there, or car length gap, as they get across the finish line for lap 24.
I expect Peyton Howell to maybe pull away from Cody McKinney here just a little bit. And by the way, too, the 28 machine, he has the fastest lap time of the race so far. Only one to crack into the 21-second bracket with a 21.922 fastest lap on the racetrack set by McKinney. And he's starting to fall off from Peyton Howell just a little bit here. You see that gap last time around was about a car length. Now it's about 3 car lengths in between those two guys. So maybe Cody McKinney learning early on that he burnt up the tires too much. And another guy, too, who's dropping a little bit, Brandon Elder, talked about him running up that outside lane on those corners. And, we had a crash back straightaway. Sylvain Jolly, Lane Allen into the wall. Tony Solari is able to slow up just enough to get past that wreck. That's going to bring out the first Roasted Gems coffee caution flag of the night. It all happened off turn number 2.
What a strange wreck, too. Comes off corner just really tight right here. Bam, hits the wall, and then like his right front fender grabs the wall, really slows down the truck. And then Sylvain really never made an attempt to move back to the wall to keep himself out of traffic. Hits the 14 and goes right back into the wall. As we're going to take another look on this Nerd TV replay from the front bumper cam of Sylvain Jolly. Hits that wall and just goes straight, just enough to hit the 14, gets sent back to the outside wall, and that's a scary sight there when you're looking at traffic from the wrong way.
Yeah, and we talked about it too earlier on, Jeremy, is that turn 2 is a place that's really going to snap at you. You could either get really loose off the corner if you're driving on the right rears too much, or you could just get up way too high and out of the groove and hit that wall. You see Tony Solari gets into the rear bumper of another truck in front of him. I want to say that was Michael Blackner in the 22 machine there off turn number 2. So, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, could Sylvain Jolly probably have gotten and stayed in the wall, maybe. But I mean, that's the thing though, Jeremy. Everything happens at Richmond so fast, especially off turn number 2. It's one of the most treacherous corners, in my opinion, when it comes to short track racing here in these NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series chassis. It's so treacherous there off turn number 2. You see it constantly over and over again in official races. Where a lot of guys will get loose on restarts and create massive multi-car pileups. We've also seen it in real life. It just happens. It's a product of Richmond because that safer barrier comes at you a lot quicker than you think. And unfortunately, that's exactly what happened to Sylvain Jolly, despite getting really tight off turn 2. And Lane Allen was just along for the ride with nowhere to go. And same for Tony Solari.
Yeah, turn 2. Yeah, it is really tough around that corner for sure. It's just such a tight corner. If you try to overdrive the center, which is so easy to do, that wall sneaks up on you in a real quick hurry, and it just bites you like it did the 08. As we get about a lap or so left before we're going to go back to green flag here for the second time. I'm going to do a quick shout out to one of our partners. This time I'm going to shout out the league first. I feel like they're going to deserve some extra recognition here. Full Throttle Sim Racing, they've been doing this since 2006 on the NR 2003 platform. They've grown and expanded with time, of course, now being 2023, 2006. That's 17 years these guys have been doing this. Founded on solid premier racing and unbiased admitting, FTSR has built for the following and have lasted for the test of time, breaking into the racing scene since 2017. Join these guys at ftsr.net. Be a part of this action. Consistently excellent racing every single time we broadcast, and now doing it twice a week. Of course, Nerd TV exclusive. Come and join us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's been so fun to call this ever since I joined over here at Nerd TV. So I'm looking forward to seeing the progression of this league here in the near future because it's been so fun to call. And these guys are going to put on one heck of a show here tonight, as they always do every single week, whether it be the Cup Series, whether it be the Truck Series. And obviously, we always talk about it, this is the only place to find it, Nerd TV. This is the place to be if you're on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And they're continuing to grow. If you've been watching us for like the past year, you've seen how many different drivers have come in into this league, showing some excellent speed and testing these guys. It just makes everyone better. If you bring in someone faster than someone faster, it's always going to get better. But we're going to see how this restart plays out for Andrew Navarro. Green flag is out, gets a whole truck length over the 52 of Peyton Howell, or 53 rather. He has not fixed his number, 52 on the truck, 53 on the board, so get just as much confused as I am. But there's Andrew Navarro, got that car length.
Ooh, Brandon Elder in the wall.
I think, yeah, I saw him in the wall. He's still slow. We're going 3 wide momentarily here with Lane Allen and the 42 of Milliken. They go 2 wide, and no damage on the 51.
No, there's a little bit of damage right there on the right side, right at the door panel. You see it right there. That 5 on the right side door is almost completely bared away. It's like if a bear just went down the side and just clawed at it there. And unfortunately, that's heavy damage to the 51. Definitely going to affect the way that truck handles in the corners. And this is a track where you are going to have grip in the corners. That is not going to help for the 51 of Elder.
No, I mean, thankfully it is a short track, but hopefully nothing's broken on that truck. And you see the wall impact right there, a puff of smoke, some sparks coming off. 27 Ryan Chapman had to get on the binders a little bit to avoid a potential slide down the track. Excellent heads up there to not be involved in that one. But yeah, that was some pretty significant impact to the right side of that 51.
He keeps on trucking right now, drop back a little bit, currently sitting in 13th spot. He actually gets loose again off turn number 2, but he's able to save it yet again. But some more battling up throughout the field. You see it, the 75 machine. I believe that's the 75 machine, if I'm not mistaken. It's TJ Bartell there, supporting some new colors this weekend. That 75 Shell Pennzoil Silverado. Beautiful looking truck, simple, but hey, that's what we like. Oh, Ryan Chapman, something's happened to him. Sideways on the back straightaway. Roasted Gems Coffee caution flag is out again, and it comes at the expense of Ryan Chapman's night. And again, Jeremy, off turn number 2.
His truck's been a little uncomfortable, at least from what I've seen here in the booth so far, as we're going to kick it over to Nerd TV replay and see what happened through turn number 1, just on the inside of JP Burns. runs a pretty solid center of the corner, and yeah, just kicks loose. And then I don't think that truck, it might have been saved, but JP Burns gave him the final little touch, sent him around. But look at that, no contact to the wall, only got squared up in the back just for a quick bump. So there's going to be no damage to that thing. Another look from a little further out camera angle here. Excellent corner. It's just that exit though just bit him, and it sent him around.
Yeah, and he was probably going to save that thing realistically, Jeremy, like you said, had it not have been for JP Burns getting into the left rear of that machine. So, I mean, the 27, no damage, thankfully, to his machine, but he's going to bring it down pit road this time by. We'll have to see if anybody else does, but it looks like what we have on pit road is what we have. Tyler Brown, Sylvain Jolly, Chapman, obviously, Dilts, Blackner, and Brody Hanna, who I believe is 34 laps down. He is currently not in the race as of now. But, yeah, only a few takers so far on pit road.
Not entirely surprising. These guys have 3 sets of tires behind the wall, and we're on lap 37. So you could put up the debate of, hey, let's take some tires. But when these guys go back to green flag, we're going to be 25 laps left before stage break, which is occurring on lap 65. So knowing that there's been some extra cautions this past couple weeks, like maybe try to be a little more conservative on those tire usages and try to save them for a little bit longer in the run.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're Andrew Navarro, Peyton Howell, Cody McKinney, you want to just save those tires as much as possible. I mean, we only have 3 sets here tonight. 200 laps is going to go by a lot quicker than these guys probably think. I mean, despite our 2 cautions already early on in this event, before the end of this first stage and only stage, you're going to want to keep the tires on it. If you're Andrew Navarro, maybe you just restart. You only want to push it a little bit, get out to that lead, try to hold off Peyton Howell, but we'll have to see. Obviously, a couple other guys back behind him who's mainly stayed in that top 5 all race long. Richie Coy still 4th, Stephen Hollingsworth still 5th. Kenny Brady, he's right up there now finally, plus 14 from where he started. He's in 6th. TJ Bartell's continuing to move up a little bit. So is Kyle Milliken. Alan Duranko sits in 13th as well. So keep an eye on those guys. They're going to be trying to fight for some stage points here.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Do what they can here, especially these new guys coming up here and kind of taking over the top 5, at least the top 2 right now, the 43 and the 53/2, depending on if you're looking at the truck or looking at the scoring pylon. But yeah, try, especially with the 28 and the 4 or the 19. They have to navigate around these guys to try to maximize their points. But right now, they're still neck and neck, just like they are in the point standing. So no surprise, you're going to see these two, the 28 and 19, probably within 2 to 3 positions of each other, basically till season's end, I would imagine. No exception here tonight, already side by side, and we're 40 laps in.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the 28 and the 19, they've been strong, obviously, all of Season B and even Season A. And Cody McKinney, he's just been really giving Richie Coy, that 19, a run for his money, saying, hey, man, I'm here. I'm ready to tango, and I'm ready to get going and keep digging. And sure enough, that's exactly what Cody McKinney has been doing this season. He's had a few instances where it hasn't really ended up on his end of the stick, but it's also not really ended up on Richie's sometimes. So these guys continue to battle it out. I expect them to be very close here at the end of this race too.
As green flag does fly here for the 3rd time this evening on lap 41. The 52 with a slightly better restart to his teammate here, but still the 43 of Andrew Navarro able to clear, go single file off turn 2. Peyton Howell, slight contact to the outside wall, and there's one truck really upset in the back, and the 28 and the 52 make contact. What a hell of a save by Peyton Howell, but that's going to drop him back 3 spots, and actually Richie Coy dropped back with him, so the 75, 19, 52, they're all for position now.
Right there, you saw Peyton Howell just almost chop off the 75 of Bartell, but we're going to take a look here at the replay. You see the 52, Peyton Howell thinks he's clear, just kind of comes right down on Cody McKinney, and he just dirt tracks it like Dale right into turn number 3. Thankfully saves it. That could have been a massive wreck in 3.
Yeah, one little overcorrect there, and you would have hooked that thing hard into the outside wall, but excellent driving there. Just did not know where his rear bumper was. Try to come down across Cody. He had 0 fault into that one. And WWE reference, gave him a little Cody cutter there, sent him off into the corner, lost a few spots, but he's fast. We got stage break in 20 laps. He'll be back in it.
Yeah, now obviously with Cody McKinney taking that second spot and Peyton Howell dropping a little bit as one driver continues to fall back, I'm noticing, is Richie Coy. I don't know if there's damage on that truck or what, but he is continuing to drag. Yeah, he looks like he's gotten slowed up a little bit most time, but he is dropping a few positions from where he restarted, and now he's back behind Peyton Howell trying to get around him because Peyton obviously probably flat spotted the tires more than likely on a couple of these things. So Richie's trying everything he can do to get around Peyton Howell, especially since he's competing for points.
Yeah, definitely got to play the points game, and you see the 28 now up a few spots. Cody in the 28, he is 4 points up right now. Richie's separated by a few. He realizes that Cody is faster than him at this point overall. And so, but Richie Coy, I said it in the pre-race, he's got the truck. Every time he comes to Richmond, he somehow finds himself top one or top two, top three, that kind of race. He doesn't always start up in the front directly, right? And sometimes he does. And if he does that, you better watch out for sure. But right now, I would say just patiently wait for this 19. He will get there. The lights will turn on. The sun will go down, and this guy will find some speed here. He will be definitely fighting for Cody for position later on in this race.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, and one guy too, like we continue to talk about, Andrew Navarro. See, he's a guy who's probably already has that truck hooked up. He is continuing to find more and more speed as he's currently still in this race lead over Cody McKinney by just almost 3/4 of a second. As you look from his point of perspective right there, interesting to note, he's got, I believe that's one of the Fanatec wheels. That is not your usual NASCAR wheel, so it's interesting to see Andrew Navarro drive with an open wheel or a GT sports car type wheel right there. So that's really cool to see because I know not a lot of guys. I know for a fact that if I were to drive with that wheel, I would love it, but I probably would not do as good as I would with a regular wheel or a NASCAR Fanatec wheel for sure. So it's always interesting to see some of these guys, depending on what wheels they run. I mean, heck, there's guys who run wheels that, don't even correlate to certain cars, as you see Andrew Navarro doing. So very impressive on his end. But he's continuing to just dominate this field. And Kenny Brady and Stephen Hollingsworth, they have both gotten by Cody McKinney in the 28 machine. He's continuing to falling back now all the way into the clutches of not only Peyton Howell, but Richie Coy, TJ Bartell, and also Brandon Gagnon off turn number 2 as they work into 3.
I run the Moza wheel as of recent, and I got the CS wheel. I put the GT mod on, so I'm running the GT style wheel. Even on the ovals at this point, I never use the top and bottom of the wheel, so it's just excess material sitting there I'm not using. So I switched over. Now we got a little hiccup there by the 28 of Cody McKinney. Checks up right in front of the 38 of Brandon, the 75 there of Bartow on the top side. It's going to cause a little bit of separation between the 19 and the 75. Ballpark red truck followed. Oh, and Brandon Gagnon. Heck of a save. Almost lock it down. So close. So I was going to make a mustard reference, but then he parks it next to the Hellman's mayonnaise. So I'm just going to stop right there. But he keeps it going. No caution here. We're going to kick it to the Nerd TV replay and see what happened.
He just got loose. The 28, you saw Cody McKinney got loose right there. And then unfortunately, the 38 machine, he got loose as well. And that's ultimately what sent him around and bring out the best. And sure enough, as you see the Hellman's sign right there on the wall, Brandon Gagnon, he brought out the best in being able to not make contact with the inside retaining wall there. So good job on his end to not be able to have any damage. But obviously now he is way, way back there, all the way in 26th, 18 seconds back. He's going to have to make sure that he doesn't go lap down here in the next 10 laps.
I think he's going to be able to do that, though his tires are screaming at him right now. A couple more trucks. JP Burns, 99, he got a little wobble off the corner exit. The 42 Kyle Milliken did almost virtually the same exact thing. So we're really starting to see this tire wear come into play here. This is definitely painting the picture of what stage 2 is going to look like, Jason, seeing what trucks have the handling and which ones don't.
Yeah, and somebody who's got that handling right is last week's defending race winner, Kenny Brady. Got right around his buddy Andrew Navarro down the back straightaway off turn number 2. You take a look right here. Andrew just loose off 2. Still trying to catch it, and Kenny ultimately drives right by him in that number 54 machine. And Kenny has said previously to me, he has said, man, I love Charlotte, but I also really like this track. He always gets very excited every time official stuff goes to Richmond. So here he is in the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series, going right back to the lead, right where he ended up finishing last week at the expense of his teammates, or his teammate in the eNASCAR iRacing Road to Pro Series, that is Andrew Navarro. And we actually have a caution right now. Kyle Milliken, something of a miss on him. He, I believe, has gone around. And other guys involved as well. Oh my goodness, it's like a huge traffic jam off turn number 2.
42 Milliken, the number 2 Alan Duranco. I'm not sure. We're going to take a look here. There is such a huge amount of gap, and then the number 2 you're going to see just come flying through the corner here. Just, you see the tires lock up a little bit too, and just turns the 42. And as soon as he tries to merge back in the field, this is where the pile assumes the 22 of Blackner, Colby Mice there, and it sends other people parking in the center of 2 as the 42 drives away. But if we can get a look at the number 2's at least camera view on his roof, if not his helmet cam, something, but he just comes in there hot. A little bit of lockup here, slides it, turns them. I'm not too sure what happened there.
Common here for Richmond. I mean, you're going into a turn 1 that's very awkward. It's only banked, only a slight amount of degrees right there. Actually, it's only 8 degrees on the front straightaway, and then when you head into the turns, it's 14 degrees banked. So you go from a sweeping left-hander, awkward type straightaway. You look right here from Alan Duranco, and he just tries to get the most out of the truck into the corner. Unfortunately, didn't use enough braking. Unfortunately, slides right up into the yellow and green 42 machine of Milliken, and everybody else doing a great job back behind him. Unfortunately, some other guys back there got involved, but that's common Richmond. We saw it on the start in 2014, I believe. It was Clint Boyer who dove it way too deep down to turn 1 on the very start of the race, took out your pole sitter Kyle Larson on the start. But that's not very uncommon here, Jeremy. It happens quite often.
Yeah, it's a good point to make out there. And the number 5 is Steve Hollingsworth. He stayed out 1 lap to get his bonus point there. And now Richie Coy in the 19 is going to resume as your race leader when this green flag comes out. And this should not be stage break. We're going to go back to green flag and probably see the 2 to go sign at the same time. I would imagine this being 1 lap to go. And so stage 1 is going to be that ketchup colored ballpark hot dog machine, and then the mustard 75 TJ Bartell got the reference out finally. They're going to be 1-2 here. JP Burns up 6 spots, get a nice little position here on 3rd for this final little restart of stage 1.
Yeah, we'll have to see here who does what. Obviously, some guys sacrificing stage points for tires to be able to get that track position here after the stage ends. Some guys wanting all the points they can, and Richie Coy and Cody McKinney, both of them stayed out, so they're practically on the same strategy. It's going to be interesting. Richie Coy right now, your leader. If this ends up being his stage win, obviously that's going to play huge dividends on his end in the points compared to Cody McKinney. So if you're Cody McKinney, you're trying to do everything you can to beat Richie Coy for the end of this stage right here.
Yeah, we're going to see. I didn't see official word or anything, so I'm just going to assume this is not the end of the stage. Pace car lights are out. We're going to resume this race on lap 64. And I'll give a quick shout out to one of our partners. Once again, this time we're going to shout out Mach 1 Performance, the Cup Series sponsor every single Monday night. Race car fabrication shop that started by Johnny Coy Jr. The shop has produced champions and winners of all sorts of racing divisions, from road circuits like the SCCA to NASA, dirt and pavement oval racing. Visit them at Facebook at facebook.com/Mach 1 Performance. And if they're in your area and you have a local race car, take them to their shop. You won't be disappointed. And here we go, going back to green flag for the 3rd time here. It is out. We are underway. Richie with an excellent start over the 75 at TJ Bartell. He's going to clear him coming through 1.
We got 3 wide right back behind them. Curtis Vollmer shot out of a cannon. 3 wide into turn 1. He was able to clear those guys. Now he tries to battle behind JP Burns, Cody McKinney as they work their way into 3. And Vollmer is on fresh tires, but he's going to have 1 lap to try to get up there. This is the last lap of the stage, and Richie Coy has no pressure out back besides TJ Bartell, while the battle is for 3rd between JP Burns and Cody McKinney off 2.
I do believe this is the final lap here. I saw pits were closed a lap ago. So coming through turns 3 and 4, presumably Richie Coy is going to get the stage here. Side by side, looks like Curtis Vollmer doing a hell of a job. 22nd to 5th, and there it is. The 4th caution presented by Roasted Jim's Coffee. This is your official stage break. And that 48 of Curtis Vollmer, shout out to that guy. Just continuing to show just crazy amount of speed on a short amount of runs. And breaks himself in 4th place. Good drive there for most of these guys in this top 10. And as these guys get wound down, Jason, this is going to be the first time we're going to kick it to picture-in-picture commercial break. We'll be back shortly before the green flag. And back to full screen here. We have 1 lap left before we're going to go back to green flag racing for the beginning of stage number 2. And that'll come to on lap number 72. I want to jump to the chats real quick. I did not see it on my Facebook feed. I had to reload the page and it finally popped up. So I know these are 50 minutes old, but still, I want to shout them out. DK Humpty saying, y'all have fun. Sue Martin jumping in saying, just popping in real quick to say hello. And that means you're probably not here, but hello anyways. And let's rip chicken. And then Stephen Loomis says, good luck, Blackwater, from Memorial Battle, our ball field, Grass Valley, California. But the green flag is out here, and a really good restart between the 43 and the 54 here. Two teammates on the track. Peyton Howe is going to try to go 3 wide real quick. Looks like the 14 is able to clear Sherwood. So he goes back to 2 wide here, but excellent racing mid-pack.
Yeah, everybody's shuffling out down the back straightaway out of 2. Now into turn number 3. Andrew Navarro trying to get around Kenny Brady as Peyton Howell continues to look to the inside there of Sherwood Williford. Now ultimately getting past him, trying to go after Lane Allen in the 14 machine with some double wide racing back behind him. Kyle Milliken, Brandon Elder almost hits the wall off too with the 5 of Hollingsworth and the 00 of Brown right back behind them in the 3.
3 wide here through turn 3 and 4 momentarily. Tyler Brown right in the middle here. Brandon Elder continues to run the upper half of this 3/4 mile Richmond Raceway. Still doing it through here. Tyler Brown really hugging the 5 here on corner exit. A little wobble there from the 00. 5 Hollingworth going to go below the 42 of Milliken. Going to try to make this pass. This is going to allow Brandon Elder to clear them off exit 4.
Trying to rip that bottom. Hollingsworth is. He's to the inside of Milliken into turn number 1. Brown trying to follow in tow. Drifts up the track a little bit. The 5 gets loose. Able to save it and off the corner. Milliken gives a little bit of a bumper to Hollingsworth entering turn number 3 with Milliken going all the way to the top of the racetrack and opening up the door for Gagnon behind them. 1 car in the wall back behind him. That was TJ Bartell. And unfortunately, he hits the wall off the corner, able to save it as everybody gets single file out here off 2.
Number 5 of Hollingsworth a little loose himself. We're looking at the 00 and the 42 right now with the 38 and the 19 coming into picture here. Brandon Elder still on the top half of the turn 3 and 4 that time. Quickly jump into the YouTube chat. 7C's event saying really liking the ticker on the right-hand side because the left-hand side covers the racing action. You are correct. That's why our producer Dustin is good at what he does. And then he says, go Andrew Navarro. Well, you picked a good one to cheer. Currently running P2 on the track right now, but still side by side here on the front straightaway between the 42, the 00, and the 38.
And Milliken just kind of ran Brown up the racetrack, entering turn 1 just a tad bit. Gagnon opened up the door for himself to the inside of the racetrack. He's trying to get by Brown as they enter into turn number 3 with Milliken dropping down from the top down to the bottom now. Still side by side off turn number 4 with the 00 getting a little bit loose. Able to save it though. Right on the rear tailgate of Milliken entering turn 1. Has to lay off a little bit earlier on with Gagnon and Coy also on the inside trying to get by him with, oh, and there goes the 00 really loose off turn number 2. Luckily doesn't hit anything off 2. He keeps on going while the inside just keeps on training down the inside of the racetrack.
Just like we've seen for the past couple nights, inside this top 10 range is where we've seen the best racing. And right now, almost, oh, never mind. Good racing turned to bad in a hurry as my paint skin I painted 2 weeks ago gets destroyed in the turn 1 outside wall. 00 Tyler Brown, the 38 of Brandon Gagnon. Both heavy damage, more to the 38. And that's going to bring out our 5th caution this evening.
Very unfortunate circumstance right there for Brandon Gagnon. Just entering the corner, looking like the doubles. I don't know. They kind of just hooked up really wrong entering the corner. I don't really say it's anybody's fault. I mean, we're going to have to look maybe from the 00's point of view, from a third-person look here down. Yeah, see, there you go. Walter knows what I like. Entering turn number 1, you see the 00 just kind of come down. 38's holding his lane, but the 00 just comes down a little bit earlier than expected and unfortunately tags the 38, and they really just got hooked up wrong, Jeremy. There was really nobody's fault on that one. Wasn't the 38, not going as low as he should have into the corner. It wasn't the 00 coming down earlier on. I mean, just a misjudgment, and unfortunately a freak accident entering turn number 1 with them getting hooked together.
Yeah, it was on the upper half of the track, so it was just, trying to find that real estate there, and a little misjudgment there. I think maybe slightly more by the 00, but it's really tough to tell there going through the corner. Things happen quickly at Richmond, and they are both down pit road. I know the 38's got more damage. that being Brandon Gagnon versus the 00 Tyler Brown. We've seen Alan Duranko in the 2. He's come down pit road to get service there. A lot of these guys elected not to pit because he just had stage break not too long ago, so they don't need those tires right now. Conserve what you have behind the pit wall. No need to spend them.
Yeah, for sure. No need to come into the pits right now and put on a fresh set of Eagles at all. But one guy who has continuously made stops tonight hasn't put on a couple sets, but Michael Blackner up 13 spots from where he started. He's been in the pits 5 times tonight. Justin Diltz into the pits 4 times tonight. So a couple guys deciding to go into the pits, and Sylvain Jolly has been to the pits 8 times tonight due to obviously some damage from earlier on causing one of our wrecks. Unfortunately, off turn number 2, but it's just too early, obviously, to come in and pit. That's why you want to wait until these things get a long green flag stint on these Goodyear Eagles to be able to come in and swap them out. So, it's interesting to see. But unfortunately, that's just the way that Richmond is here on iRacing. A lot of guys deciding to be out and stay on those older tires when they have the option to come in. They just don't want to waste them with only 3 tires behind the wall.
Yeah, 100% there. Jumping over to the Facebook chat, Michaela Whitaker saying, let's go Peyton Howell. So we got a cheerleader for Peyton now in this race. Also a very good pick. Currently going to be restarting in 3rd place here as we got a lap and a half left before we're going to see the green flag fly for the 5th time, or the 6th time this evening, rather. These guys 3 have been really fast. The guy that's impressed me right now, I know he's doing a little bit of strategy call with the 14 of Lane Allen, already involved in 1 wreck, and here he is running P4. Pretty surprised to see him up here, though. Lane Allen's got some speed.
He got some damage, though, on the right side, especially that right front. You don't want to get that thing pushed in because it really hurts the truck, or really any car in general when it comes to the stock car side of iRacing. Through the corners, and you don't really have as much grip. You feel really, really tight. You can't accelerate very well. You can't get into the corners as low as you want. So that's going to hurt him possibly here on the restart. But very nice to see Lane here up at the front in the 14 machine. You're usually always having solid runs, and unfortunately just gets involved in people's messes as he did earlier on here tonight. So hopefully he can have himself a solid run later on in this race.
Yeah, we're going to find out here. The sun is almost down. It is 8:32 in the server. So here before long, we're going to see complete sundown. Green flag is out for the 6th time. The 54 of Kenny Brady gets a decent start over the 43 of Andrew Navarro. And just like every single restart up to this point, we're going to see 1st place clear 2nd place, and now side by side for 2nd and 3rd. Though the 43 Navarro gets a great launch off turn 2. Looks like the 5 of Hollingsworth might go 3 wide. Does not do it. The 14 backs out of that one. Sherwood Williford now contesting the 5 for 4th and 5th.
Everybody, though, double wide back behind the 5 and the 33. You saw Lane Allen. He was able to clear Elder and Coy going into turn number 1 as the 33 gets a little bit loose entering turn number 1. 19, huge run down the back straightaway due to Elder being super loose. 3 wide for a second. Entering turn 3, back to 2 now. McKinney able to get clear of the 3 wide incident. Now he's 2 wide with the 75 of Bartel. Looking to the inside of Elder, though, here. 3 wide now as they enter in turn 1 for position.
Ooh, that's all on the lower half of the track. The 51 almost slid up into the 75 TJ Bartel's left rear corner panel, able to save it. And still the battle is strong here for 10th place, where we just continue to see the great racing over here. But man, that was so close there on turn number 1 to have that 3 wide all in the lower half of the track. That could have ended bad there because a lot of these guys are still not separated from each other. 14 and the 19 side by side here off turn 2. 75-28 still getting it. Cody McKinney, 28. He's trying to find his way back inside the top 5.
He ain't just trying to find his way back in the top 5. He's trying to get around Richie Coy. He almost squeezes Bartel into the wall off turn number 4, but they are able to continue to be double wide. Clean, hard racing as always here in the FTSR as Coy gets around Lane Allen. Now Cody McKinney's going to make work of the 14 machine down into 3. Some other battling back on throughout the field. Joey McKinney to the inside of Tony Solari. That's not going to work. Solari drives off the corner there, but Joey's still waiting in the wings as Solari looks to the outside now of Blackner entering 1.
as these guys have, for the most part, just all of a sudden, oh, we got one truck sliding into the infield almost. That was a 22 of Michael Blackner, able to keep it off the wall. Hell of a job there to do so. Now he's going to find himself 3 wide. Don't get too excited here, as we're going to kick it over to the Nerd TV replay. And this is the 11 of Solari. There is right there in front of him, his teammate. Nose to tail, and the 22 just gets loose. That's now, what, the 3rd or 4th time, Jason, that we have seen a single truck get loose off of turn 2. You called it treacherous turn 2. I think you're correct for tonight's race.
Yeah, probably, but it also might be because the 22 is driving a Sheets truck and not a Wawa truck. Obviously biased.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm from the East Coast, so that's probably why he lost it there off the corner. Maybe he should put... Oh, and Joey McKinney around, down the back, straight away, loose off the corner, back in front of the field, right in front of traffic. Everybody, though, able to get through right there due to Joey McKinney's altering spin down the backstretch. He's able to keep it off the wall, but man, oh man, Jeremy, I saw that truck get very... Oh, and he's going to spin it out again. I saw that truck get very sideways off the corner right here, and you're going to see the 18 just loose. And then right here, this thing's going to snap. He tries to overcorrect it. I thought that truck was going to go back up in front of the entire back half of the field, right in front of some guys right there. You see the 9 machine, Marshall Johnson. You see Dilts, Chapman, Milliken, other guys. And then one truck way in the back there almost getting involved as well. That's Colby Mice in the 8 machine. Good job, though, on Joey McKinney to keep it down to the inside, not collect anybody else.
Yeah, that's the 5th wreck-induced caution we've had, 6 total here. And there's been quite a few self-spins. You see him loop it around one more time just because those tires are screaming at him after that slide there down the backstretch. I think we're going to take this time, once we go back to live, I want to try to bring in one of our guys that we can talk to, and he's actually one of our IROC 93.5 in-race reporters throughout this entire 2023 B season. That's going to be the 27 of Ryan Chapman, driver for Elevated Esports. We're going to see if we can't get him in here real quick. Mr. Ryan, this is Jeremy, the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy?
I do, guys. What's up?
Pretty entertaining race so far. We've already got 6 cautions, 5 due to wrecks, and you have been around at least 2 of them, if not more, and you've had to make some maneuvers to avoid them. So how crazy is this race so far from your perspective?
Man, it's nuts out here. These guys are going crazy. 3 wide. It's been fun though. Everyone's running clean. It's just really loose on exit, I feel like, for everybody. So everyone's trying to get that little bit of extra speed, and everyone's just losing it. I lost it myself. But yeah, I really think it's that exit is just hurting on a few people here, and it's gonna turn out fun. I can say that much.
Yeah, it's a very angry corner so far for sure. We're just getting close to halfway. Hopefully it doesn't strike you though, man, but we're going to bring you back down. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy.
Yes, sir. That was Ryan Chapman once again here. Is I think we're going to be going 1 to go. Actually, the pace car lights are out still, so 2 to go. And I'm going to take this time. I'm going to see if we can't bring in a second person into our channel. And going through the list here, I'm going to try to bring in the 75 of TJ Bartel from Wayne Grossi Racing. Let's see if we can't get a word in with him. As soon as I can get him in here. 1 second. Actually, it's not going to let me do it. So, oh, here we go. And 5 right. TJ Bartel, this is Jeremy in the Nerd TV booth. You got a copy? Hey, man, you're doing pretty good so far. You've had some ups and downs. Right now, you're currently running inside the top 10 P8. How is that truck handling for you, and what do you think you have for these guys in the second half?
It's handling pretty good. Hopefully we'll get a really long run. I think I'll be better on a long run, but I don't know if I got anything for the top 3 or 4, but hopefully I can get a good top 10 finish.
All right, man. I just wanted to check in with you here while we had some time. I'm going to bring you back down. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Apologize. I had a little difficult trying to get him into this channel, but I finally was able to make it happen right before the green flag is going to fly here. And Jason, what do you expect on this restart?
Chaos.
Chaos. All right. I love it.
Professor Chaos.
Bringing out the nerd comments from Nerd TV. Keep it coming, but the green flag is out. A little bobble there, really, from both first and second place. It's going to bring Peyton Howell and Stephen Hollingsworth still nose to tail with these guys. The 54 barely is going to clear the 40. No, he does not. Andrew Navarro is going to contest for the first time on a restart. They go 3 wide with Cody McKinney making some moves on the bottom.
Entering turn number 3, everybody though still 3 and 2 wide off the corner. Peyton Howell slides right across the front bumper of Stephen Hollingsworth on the exit of turn number 4. They almost brushed the wall into the corner, or should I say off the corner, and now Cody McKinney, he's able to get by the 33 of Sherwood Williford. He was the one just a lap ago, Jeremy, who made it 3 wide down to the bottom. He is making quick work of these guys here throughout the pack because he's still trying to chase down these leaders, and he's also trying to chase down Richie Coy.
Side by side still here for the race lead. A lot of single file, but we're on focus right now with the 75 now back. And actually, we got a caution for the 7th time this evening. Looking through the field, there's a couple trucks slow in the back. It looks like Sylvain Jolly comes down late and slaps the 91 of Justin Diltz after the wreck has already happened. And there was a pile of trucks. I think it was the 08 and the 2 of Alan Duranco that originally started this wreck in turn 1.
Tell you what, I don't think the admins are going to be very happy with Sylvain Jolly if he did in fact come back and hit Justin Diltz after the race, or after the caution had already come out. But here we go. You see the 08, he's just losing it, and unfortunately comes right down. It's not as bad as I thought. I thought he was stopped at the racetrack and came back and hit the 91 of Diltz, but unfortunately that was just a product of him just trying to hang on to that truck after getting so loose, and keeps on trying to save. But it has not been Sylvain Jolly's night at all tonight.
No, and it's definitely, he's been in one of those spots too. He's had a couple of moments there on the track for sure, and he's just been trying. And that's time, as you see, he gets involved with the number 2 here, going through turn number 1, as we're on the nose camera of the number 2 of Alan Duranco, just getting pushed to the corner, saves it. But then from right here, this point forward, the tires just not happy. As Cody McKinney, actually, nice camera, or Joseph McKinney rather, makes contact at the back of the 08, and he is just left, right, all throughout the corner. Can't get a hold of it, and then he comes down and involves Justin Diltz. So I think that was 4 trucks in total with some kind of damage out of this one.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate there. That was really just a product of, I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to call what I see. The 2 of Duranco, just a very aggressive move entering turn number 1. I mean, I know that the 08 was significantly slower than the 2, but the 2 just continued to dive it in there, got onto the apron, and unfortunately made contact in the left rear with Sylvain Jolly there, ultimately sent him around, caught him back, and was able to save that truck, but Sylvain Jolly was not able to save it there off turn number 2. So that's exactly what happened entering turn 1.
And you guys are going to get regrouped once again. I didn't see too many takers down pit road this time. Just the caution counts are just stacking up at this point. So 7 cautions in. We're just over lap 100, being on lap 105 at the line. So save what you got still. Looks like you're going to need to conserve them. Maybe take them around lap 40 or 30, somewhere in that ballpark. Really just kind of sets you up for the end of this race. Jump into the YouTube chats here. I think that's Malika and Drummer, if I pronounced that right. Maliki and Drummer. Thank you, Dustin.
It's
there
Robert.
In my ear. It's Robert. Okay, well, go Elevated Esports number 16. Yep, there it is, Robert Malikian. And then wish I was on the track with the boys. Wish you were here, man, but I'm glad you're at least able to join the broadcast here tonight. And then Shaman of Shafts. Rumor has it, Ryan, I'm assuming he's talking about Ryan Chapman, is bad at PGA 2K. So Ryan, if you watch this back, you got one of your buddies calling you out on your poor PGA skills. You probably need to tighten up for next week.
Yeah, that's interesting. But hey, man, Brian's been doing a solid job here tonight, though. Despite obviously being involved in the one wreck. I mean, currently sitting inside the top 10. We just talked to him before. He said it's absolutely chaos out here, and he says it's a blast. And so I expect Ryan to do some more good stuff here later on. I mean, we're now more than halfway through this race. So hopefully Ryan Chapman can stay up there inside the top 10 and climb his way up through the rest of this field.
Yeah, he's got plenty of opportunities to do it if he can just capitalize on some restarts. It looks like you just have to have a really good restart, hold it for a couple laps, and that's basically the average green flag run has been about 5, maybe 10 laps at most. I'm just looking down this gorgeous camera angle here, seeing two of our drivers from IROC 93.5 cockpit camera. That's going to be Mr. Kenny Brady on the top and Andrew Navarro on the bottom. These guys right now sitting on the track, at least one in the lead, 54, Kenny Brady, but we're going to go back to green flag here. Kenny Brady with a great restart, just laser focus going through turn number 1 now. As he clears the 52 in the 5 Hollingsworth, Steven just putting some great run together right now on the 52, going down the back straightaway here to turn 3. Richie Coy trying everything he can on the top.
Tell you what, it is a damn shame that Stephen Hollingsworth is not in a Discord channel, because I would love to talk to him under caution, but unfortunately it does not look like he is in the FTSR chat here tonight, because he is a bad fast driver here tonight, moving all the way up into the 3rd position and having almost similar lap times to the leaders, only off by about a 10th or less here as he moves into the 3rd spot. Richie Coy and Cody McKinney, they continue their championship battle here for the Season B title. McKinney trying to look down to the inside of the racetrack. He'll take a nose right onto the quarter panel. Now they're side by side. Richie Coy ultimately going to give that position up to that number 28 Save Sharks machine.
Cody McKinney to 4th, Coy to 5th place. And as this battle right here is going on, I've been watching this just outside the top 10. Once again, it was the number 11, Tony Slaughter, makes contact with the turn 4 outside wall. It's going to check up the 22, his teammate, and now the 48 of Curtis Vollmer is going to take advantage of that. Going to get through turns 1 and 2 on the inside of Tony Solari. Nose to nose through turn 3. And Tony Solari so far is holding on pretty strong in that second group.
If he could just get enough of a run here off the corner down the back straightaway, he might be able to do something. But, I mean, we'll have to see as Curtis Vollmer looks to be able to clear him off, too. He will. Andrew Navarro now down to the inside of the racetrack on Solari. He'll make quick work of him, but still side by side trying to chase after the 48 and the 00 off turn number 4. Oh, Solari pops the wall off turn number 4. You see the scrapage there down the right side on the number 11 machine. No harm, no foul, though, but that's some hard damage on the 11's right side there on off turn number 4.
Yeah, it's the second time in 3 laps that he's found the outside retaining wall there in turn 4, but it is short track, and I don't think he's messed anything up really other than maybe just a little bit of the front fender. So his truck stays good, but this battle right here just inside the top 10 just continuing to show the best TV action right now. Curtis Vollmer still side by side now with Tyler Brown. Just in front of them, Sherwood Williford on the outside of the 42, Kyle Milliken. And then this is the first time we've seen Andrew Navarro in traffic. He's sitting there running in 12th, trying to get around these guys as he's trying to work his way back through the field.
Yeah, clearly, though, here, Jeremy, it looks like his truck is actually handling pretty well here. If he's handling traffic very well, going through it very quickly, despite starting there in the rear of the field due to coming into the pits. So nice to see him making his way up very quickly inside the top 10. Now he's going to go after the 27 of Ryan Chapman, who's moved up 1 spot since that restart as Chapman tries to chase after Burns of the 99 machine. Down the back straightaway, Richie Coy goes to the inside of Stephen Hollingsworth. That's for position. As Navarro looks to the inside of Burns, he'll get past him with Coy sliding right across the 5's bumper there. As the 75 of Bartel, he'll look to the inside, but they'll single file back out into 1.
Second longest green flag run here of the night. Richie Coy moves up 1 spot, passing the 5 of Stephen Hollingsworth. That is for position 4. The 5 truck moves to 5th. TJ Bartel still remains in 6th place, up 4 spots since the start of this race just over an hour ago. And right now, this is the largest lull point in this race. A lot of guys at this point have separated. If you load up the track map presented by iRacing, iFlag, you see him taking up the entire backstretch and then some. So about almost a half of the track from the leader back to last place, separating around this track. So as this green flag run continues, we're finally going to see underneath the lights who has what it takes to contend right now. But right now, the leaders really seem to have this figured out.
Yeah, Kenny Brady is just kind of in a zip code of his own against his teammate Pat Howell, who goes all the way to the top of the racetrack in turns 3 and 4. I don't know if he's trying to make something work out of the outside lane down the straightaways. He kind of makes it work, but in the corners, he's just way too high to try to make any kind of gain on his teammate. But down the back straightaway, you see the 5 fighting hard against the 75 of Bartels. Navarro, he made quick work of them. He'll go all the way up to the 5th spot now, trying to chase after Richie Coy in the 19. Back behind them, JP Burns as well. He's under fire from Ryan Chapman down to turn number 1. Chapman takes a peek down low. He'll get right on the rear tailgate as you ride on board the 27 machine. The Connecticut native still trying to pass JP Burns in a 3.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty good job right now, just waiting. More so that patience game, let him make a mistake or whatnot, but keep the track map up. You're seeing that the track now over a halfway covered between first and last place, as the back half of the field has seemed to really just space out from the guys in front of them. But very typical here. And as these guys are starting to space out a little bit more, Jason, we're going to go to turn up the tunes. We're going to listen to these trucks drive around Richmond Raceway. Welcome back to Our Voices, now on your screen and on the chats real quick. 7C's event saying Kenny is getting the groceries out there. Well, I mean, if that, oh, actually, we're going to take that back. We're going to bring him back home as we have the number 5 spun out in turn 2, which I don't know if you caught that, but during the sound segment there, turn up the tudes, the 5 of Stephen Hollingsworth made the stop down pit roads. This is on a brand new set of virtual Goodyears, comes out 1 lap later and loops it. Oh, that's heavy impact to the outside wall, actually. So 4 fresh set of Goodyears and a not so fresh hood.
That was very, very weird. I mean, entering turn number 1, it looked like he was slowing up because I think the 5 of Hollingsworth didn't just lose it, because that was a very weird way to lose it. If he did, I mean, all power to him, I guess. But entering 1, the 91 of Dales just started slowing up for him, and I think maybe the 5 of Hollingsworth thought that he was going to run into the back of him, got on the brakes, and ultimately, yeah, see, I think he got into the corner too hard, knew he was going to get in to the 91 machine, and ultimately kind of locked it up a little bit, got too loose, and then just overcorrected it there. But here we go, green flag pit, or not green flag, oh my goodness. Yellow flag pit stops here happening. A lot of guys coming into the pits, German, to take on those 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, this was basically what was expected to happen. We saw the 5 of Hollingsworth come down pit road, at least what I caught. Nobody else did, and I thought maybe that was the start of some early green flag pit stops. But yeah, these trucks were on the track for over 40 laps under green flag, and so it's no wonder that they're down pit road, and it looks like it was a tough position there for the 52 and the 54. I don't know who got that one exactly, but they're going to come down turn 1, turn 2, apron, get them single filed up behind the pace car once more. And then Brandon Gagnon also in the chats exiting his truck after that wreck with Tyler Brown in turn 1, saying hate to be off track, but go Nerditudes Motorsports, cheering him on. Glad to see you jumping in there, showing some support for the team. And I would stick around. This is going to be a great one to watch. And we have 23 concurrent viewers right now across Facebook and YouTube. So appreciate everyone once more for jumping in and watching this event with us for the FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series.
Yeah, this has been such a good race for us here tonight. No real dominant leader. Lots of great battling all over this racetrack tonight. So we'll have to see who comes out on top. We know Andrew Navarro's been very fast. We know Kenny Brady's been very fast. Peyton Howell just hasn't been able to get there just yet. So we'll have to see about him. Also, Cody McKinney and Richie Coy, they continue their championship battle. All the meanwhile, while they try to get up to the front, TJ Bartel's been quick. A lot of guys here tonight, Jeremy, have been very, very quick. There hasn't really been a set-in-stone top 10 besides Brady and Peyton Howell and Andrew Navarro up there all night long, along with Coy and McKinney as well.
You know one truck, Jason, that's not been rock-solid top 10? Look at that 08 in second place. That truck obviously has been in one big wreck. I think it was involved in another one, so 2, I think, total incidents. That truck looks beat up, and he is starting P2 on this race. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just really impressed that truck is able to still perform and at least give it a go on this restart here. So I'm going to be really curious to see how Sylvain Jolly tackles this restart when he's got a really fast 54 of Kenny Brady and 52 of Peyton Howell right behind him.
I don't know how this is going to be. I mean, Lane Allen's also right there on the bottom side of the racetrack. So these guys are going to have to make work of them very, very quickly. The only one up there inside the top 5 who has an opportunity to get past those 2 on the front row is Kenny Brady. If he could somehow manage to get all the way down to the inside entering turn 1 on the restart, but that's very, very risky, especially with these guys being on older sets of tires. I just don't know, man. This is going to be a very, very interesting restart, to say the least.
Look at that pit stop strategy just on the screen there. Sylvain Jolly's just had a really consistent pit road, but they see it once more there. He's just every 20 or so laps or whatnot, but we're going back to green flag here. 14 Lane Allen has done this once before, and he fell back kind of quick. He has a conservative restart here, and Kenny Brady out of a cannon. Going to try to take this back to P1 before he gets to the backstretch, and he gets it. Andrew Navarro follows along suit there. He's going to take second place. 52 of Peyton Howell is going to take third as the 14.
lead right
gonna
now.
trickle
Last
down
time
through the
around,
field.
Chapman and Tyler Brown, they make a little battle throughout this field. You see them all double wide right now as they head down the back straightaway into turn number 3 now, heading into turn 4 this time by.
Right around that 10th place here, Tyler Brown, the 00, running the inside of now Sylvain Jolly, who's went from 2nd back to 10th at this point. A little 3 wide here. Almost Curtis Vollmer thought about doing it. Backs it up. He's going to follow the 00 around the inside of the 75 of TJ Bartel as they head off into turn number 1.
And into turn 1, Vollmer all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack now on the 00 of Tyler Brown. Tries to get around him, and down the back straightaway they go. You see him continuing to look on the 00 machine, just not enough to get by him so far. He'll look briefly to the inside of the racetrack and down into turn number 1. This time by Brown looks to go to the bottom of lane.
Basically the top 15 single file here. We got a little bit of racing in the back, close to 20th place. That's Joseph McKinney, the 18, Marshall Johnson in the 9, 22 of Michael Blackner. 51 of Elder hits the wall once more. He's about to hit that wall, I think, 5 times, if not more, on the right side of his truck there. Continue to try to do any lane possible for his truck. You see one truck, that's actually Brandon Elder. He's going to dip down below the yellow line, maybe make an early pit stop here as we cut over to him there on the apron after that wall contact. The truck obviously not in the best shape compared to recently, but taking back to the 33, going through turn 1 and 2 here, following Kyle Milliken through the corner. And minus this spot, still the top 10 is where all the racing's at.
Yeah, top 10 has been racy all night long. And back up at the front of the field, Andrew Navarro still trying to reel in his buddy right now. Currently for the top spot, Brady loose off turn number 2. Andrew Navarro looks up to the top side of the racetrack, was all over the rear tailgate of the 54 Nerd Motorsports machine. He'll jump up to the top like he did back in turn number 2 on the exit. They're side by side entering turn number 3, and all the while Peyton Howell waiting in the wings, trying to look for his opportunity to try to make a pass here off 2.
He is really anxious, waiting to see what happens here. I think he's got this truck to maybe compete for second, if not in the lead. We're going to see what they can do right now. Kenny Brady with maybe 3 inches to spare cuts the nose of the 43, but Andrew's going to take it right to the bottom and do a clean sweep of a pass. The 54 Brady gets a little loose on corner exit there. New race leader Andrew Navarro.
Navarro made quick work of Brady right there through the corner, got right around him, and Peyton Howell trying to slowly reel those guys in right now. As you look at the pass for the lead into turn number 1, Andrew Navarro just looks down to the inside. Kenny Brady lets him go, tries a little bit of a crossover, gets loose, and unfortunately, Andrew Navarro able to get away from Kenny Brady in the front mirror.
Just what an expert move there to let him drive into the corner and then to swoop back below him and just cleanly pass the 54 of Kenny Brady. That was an excellent move there. And now he's got about a 3 to 4 truck separation. Peyton Howell is now at the back of Kenny Brady. I wonder if that truck getting loose a few laps ago is kind of showing the tire wear for Kenny Brady here. But he's trying his best, hugging the yellow line this time through turns 3 and 4. Cody McKinney back to P4 and looking in the wings to maybe find podium's position.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, Cody McKinney's been very strong all night long. Had some issues here and there where he was almost outside the top 10, but him and Richie Coy have been right there behind those strong top 3 drivers, and they're just hanging in there right now as Andrew Navarro continues to try and push away just a little bit down the front straightaway. Richie Coy, though, kind of losing Cody McKinney, but we all know if this race goes green all the way to the end, Richie Coy is continuously over and over again, week after week. He is a long run guy when it comes to these long run races, so we will have to see how that number 19 Wienermobile will be towards the end of this race.
49 laps to go. If we stay green the rest of the way, there will be no more pit stops in this event, at least for the guys that are running up front. And you see the 52 of Peyton Howell get a little sideways there off corner exit. The 20 of McKinney get ever so close. And the 19 of Richie Coy, the lights are down, are on. The sun is underneath the grandstands, and this truck has picked up speed. He is quickly approaching this 28 and the 52. So Richie Coy late in this race, once again, just showing how fast he is here at Richmond.
Always a short track guy. He's been so dominant at these things, but really, honestly, we talk about it. Richie Coy has had the least amount of incidents here in the FTSR in 2023 by far, and I mean by far, like all capital letters stretched out and everything. That's just how good and consistent Richie Coy is, and it doesn't matter. You can go to a super speedway, you can go to a road course, you can go to a mile and a half, you can go to 3/4 of a mile. It does not matter. Richie Coy is strong everywhere he goes, but somehow, some way, it seems like he always strives on these 3/4 of a mile or less than a mile racetracks, aka short tracks. And so far has been top 5 pretty much all night long. It started 4th, only lost 1 spot as of now, and he's trying to make work of Cody McKinney here for the 4th spot into 4.
Yeah, this race right now for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, even though they're single file, you know there's a lot of strategy being thought about here and whatnot. We see Cody McKinney try to tackle turn number 1 under Peyton. Peyton gave him a little bit of room, almost messed up his corner exit here. Cody's to make a sharp corner to the inside to fake the pass. Peyton actually gives him the position if he wants to try it. Coming off turn number 4, I think Peyton's going to have him clear. The turn 1 entrance here leaves the door open enough, but then finally closes it to lose another lap. It's going to be 52 leading the 28.
Yeah, and Cody right now, he's just trying to get around the 52 right now. He's already chopped off one guy. Oh, he gives the bumper to him. Up the racetrack goes the 53 of Peyton Howell, or should I say the 52 machine. Cody McKinney had enough of the chopping, and he's going to get right by him here, possibly on the exit of turn number 2. They're still side by side for position. Peyton Howell a little bit loose off 2, but they continue to be side by side into turn number 3, all in the meanwhile with Richie Coy waiting right behind them to try to strike. He's looking on the rear tailgate of McKinney off turn number 4.
I absolutely love that short track move there. You spent 3 or 4 or 5 laps trying to pass him. Nothing was there. His nose got chopped maybe one time, if you would even want to call it a chop. And he said, all right, I know I'm faster. I need to go because we're under 50 to go at a short track. That is very little time to make any moves. Sends him up the track very clean-like, makes the pass now, and now he can focus on getting up to the 54 of Kenny Brady.
Yeah, and he's going to have to try his best here within these next, come this time by 40 laps to make quick work of Kenny Brady, but maybe Kenny has something for Andrew Navarro here as we look throughout the field. TJ Bartell, JP Burns, there's Curtis Vollmer in the 48, who is having another strong run here tonight. Remember back at Iowa, very, very strong, finished in the top 3, stole one away. Here he is inside the top 10. Now you look for a battle. That's the battle for 12th. Alan Duranko gets around Sherwood Williford with right behind him. That's Johnson in the 9 machine trying to look for something. He's under fire from Blackner. Williford tried to look to the inside just for a moment there on Duranko. Wasn't able to get by him. Duranko going to slide away here off the corner exit.
And as we're focused on this, Richie Coy making a pass underneath the 52 of Peyton here. This is going to be for 4th position if he can get clear. 52, Peyton's been putting up a really strong battle on this 19. 19's losing a lot of ground. He needs to make this pass happen quick, but Peyton's just so fast in that second groove. But I think this time through 1 and 2, this is the best chance for Richie. Peyton gets a great launch. He really widened out turn 1, straightened up his wheel for the exit of turn 2, which gave him that lead back over the 19 as they come down the front straightaway on lap 164, dead heat at the line.
Hard, clean racing right now. Richie Coy, always a class act, trying to show Peyton Howell a move right now that Peyton is not too used to from the 19. Tries to squeeze him up a little bit. Not enough room right there, but just enough room given to give the 52 a shot at trying to get past the 19 down the backstretch. Now exiting turn number 4. Peyton Howell's a little bit loose off the corner, but still all the meanwhile, they continue to be double wide, and they are showing some very, very hard racing here late in the stages at Richmond.
Yeah, this is a beautiful race right here. Not a single ounce of contact has been made, and these guys have been side by side for 5 laps. Get super close right there through the entrance of turn 3, but still no contact, and I think this is going to be it. The 19 has him clear if he wants to move up. 52 hits the brakes a little earlier, and there it is. Pass completed. Richie Coy completes for 4th place.
Peyton now is going to have to drive it in right here into turn number 3. We know how aggressive Peyton's been these last couple races, and he is still trying everything in his power to get around Richie Coy, but unfortunately no rear traction off exit right there. Richie Coy able to get away from him, and now look at this. Ryan Chapman almost entering the top 5. He's right behind Peyton Howell. And because Peyton's been running really hard with Richie, this could lead to an opportunity for Ryan Chapman to not only take 1, but possibly 2 spots here due to those guys battling hard and using up their tires.
And this would be for a top 5 stat if he can get around the 52 here, which Ryan needs to get back in the rhythm. He is really fast. He just had a bad couple of weeks through this summer period of the year. And so to see him back here almost battling for 5th place, great to see that 27 making some moves here. But the 19 has passed the 52 and cleared him about 5 or 6 truck lengths now. Kenny Brady holding on to Andrew Navarro, still only just over a half a second separation here. Kenny last long run had that lead for like 2 to 3 seconds, but since the roles have been reversed, the clean air has actually played big dividends for the 43.
Yeah, but Kenny is continuing to reel him in ever so slightly. The gap was about a little bit more than a second, a handful of laps ago. Now it's less than 0.5 of a second. As you look at Kenny Brady up top of your screen, you saw Andrew Navarro there right on the bottom. Now it's roles reverse, go from 1st and 2nd now. You see Andrew Navarro, he's wheeling and dealing right now. You're seeing Kenny, he's locked in as he always is, ripping up against the top side. Gap 0.4 of a second entering turn number 3. Navarro tries to do a little bit of a diamond strategy into turn 1, cuts the corner off exit to try to drive away. It helps him a little bit, but at the expense, just going to burn up that right rear just a little bit more. So he's going to have to hang on here if Kenny Brady does in fact get to him, which he's probably going to.
Yeah, if we can lock in this camera for about another lap or so, watch the wheel difference between Andrew on the top and Kenny on the bottom. Andrew is a lot more choppy on the wheel. Corner exit, I've noticed he's got a lot of right to left motion in that wheel. Kenny Brady, very smooth, very little movement in that wheel. And this is why the 54 has caught Andrew. You see big wiggle there for Andrew on exit 4. Kenny keeps basically a straight wheel. Now we're going to go through turns 1 and 2. We're going to see who has the smoother wheel this time around. This time looks like Kenny has a little bit more of that, as his truck has basically no air on the nose of that thing, as he's all buttoned up behind the 43.
Yeah, and Kenny almost puts the bumper right there to the 43 of Andrew Navarro entering turn number 4. Wasn't enough. Now Brady's going to try to shoot down to the inside. He'll quickly cut back up, knowing there was not going to be an option to get past him, but he's going to try and cross over here. Lap traffic in the way. That's the number 12 machine, Casey Lowe. He'll stay up to the top side. Meanwhile, the leaders, they'll look low, but this is going to be interesting. Kenny Brady uses him as a pick, looks to the inside. Andrew Navarro shuts the door on him off corner exit, and now they try to work around Justin Diltz as Andrew Navarro uses the 91 of Diltz as a pick exiting 2.
Not only they race themselves, they're racing the traffic. They're passing right now, and they both did an excellent job to not lose the distance from one another as they got around those lap trucks. And now there's a bunch of clean air right in front of these two, as Kenny needs to just find a way. We have 25 laps to go in this event.
Here we go. There goes Andrew Navarro up the racetrack. Kenny Brady's going to get looking to the inside of the racetrack. They're door to door down the Toyota back straightaway, entering turn number 3. Navarro able to not use the brakes as early as Kenny does, but Kenny ultimately clears them. Andrew Navarro tries the crossover. Not enough. Kenny Brady back to the top spot here in Richmond.
Andrew decides to not cut it back to the bottom. He had a great amount of momentum off corner exit, did not use it to the bottom. He knows Kenny's just that much faster, and now Kenny has the lead, and as long as he can keep that wheel like he has been for the past 15 laps or so, really nice and smooth, I think this is going to be all she wrote for that 54 pending. There's no more cautions, but we're coming up to 20 laps to go now.
Yeah, and we've seen it time after time where we really think that there's going to be a green flag finish all the way to the end. Next thing you know, we have a late race yellow, so there's all the possibility. And oh, it almost happened right there. Sylvain Jolly got super duper loose exiting turn number 2 like he's done all night long. Hopefully he doesn't want to cause another yellow that might be causing a penalty possibly just because of how many incidents he's been involved here tonight. But he continues to drive that thing right now just inside the top 20 in the 19th spot, continuing to look for more positions as he continues to try to get by Casey Lowe and Justin Diltz, who are side by side entering 3 and 4.
As that battle does end there, as they going around some more traffic here, looking at the number 12 right now. I'd like to kind of quickly shout out to Curtis Vollmer in the 48 once again. It's our second highest mover in this race, up from 22nd to P9 right now. Actually, I think it's the third highest with Alan Duranco in the 2. He's up 14 spots respectively himself. Other than your race leader right now, 48's just been continuously to be faster and faster as this race continues on throughout the night here. One of our longtime in-race reporters, Ryan Chapman, he's lost 1 spot. He fell back to the 75 of TJ Bartel, who's found himself some late race speed.
Everybody's kind of starting to find what their rhythm is here for these last 19 laps. And unfortunately, Andrew Navarro did not have that speed from what it looked like. Kenny Brady ultimately able to get by. TJ Bartel able to get by Ryan Chapman, and Curtis Vollmer continues to be very, very strong. All the meanwhile, Richie Coy tries to chase after Cody McKinney here as they work their way down the backstretch. There is lap traffic all over this place right now, while everybody just tries to remain clean these next 18 laps.
As we're starting to log in laps here, getting close to the end, I want to do a quick shout out to one of our partners for the last time, iRacing iFlag, the standard and open source race marshaling light board system. It's basically just a 64 LED system that really shows all the displays that iRacing has to offer, up to 30 of them, on this little 3D printed unit that sits on your desk, completes your sim rig. So if you want something like that to really just complete the sim rig entirely and have less focus removed from the racing action, visit iRacingIFlag.com and use promo code SUPERNERD if you do choose to buy one of his products. It'll save you 15% off. And right now, some heavy lap traffic now completed there. 75 gets around the 08. Now TJ Bartel can focus on getting to 5th place. Peyton Howell with the slower exit of turn number 4. Peyton is just 1 truck length away from getting himself in the top 5.
Yeah, that is possible here. TJ Bartel is looking right there to try to take away that top 5 position from Howell and entering turn number 3. You see Chapman waiting right behind. The driver passed him a handful of laps ago. He sure enough wants to get inside this top 5. He would love to take away 2 spots, but he knows he's going to have to get through 2 very, very fast drivers if he wants to do so. They get around Justin Diltz in the 91, who gets a little loose off 2. Could have been an issue for TJ Bartel, but sure enough, it is not. And Bartel closes up to the rear tailgate of Peyton Howell off 4.
Really trying his hardest here, and this is one of the very few battles on the track right now, except for 11th and 12th. That's heating up between Tyler Brown and the 2 of Alan Duranco for 11th place, and they also have Kyle Milliken right in front of them. That'll be for 10th. So really, to try to get that top 10 stat on the board for the season, you want to get around that yellow machine there of Kyle Milliken. So I think Duranco might have the speed. He just has to get around Tyler Brown first.
Yeah, and he's been working at him for just a handful of laps. You see Duranco look to the inside there for just a split second. He's already made that mistake once tonight where he's driven into the corner super, super hard and got into Sylvain Jolly. Does not want to do that again as he's continuing to try to work his way up inside the top 10. Milliken holding that 10th spot, and Brown trying to go after him as well. So those 2 drivers fighting for position, all the meanwhile trying to get inside the top 10. Kenny Brady continuing to lead this race over his teammate by a second and a half, if not more here. This time by at the line. 11 laps to go, this time by in 1.
Yeah, this is exactly what it looked like the last long run we had before our caution around lap 150. Kenny Brady is just now pulling away. And Andrew Navarro, too. He's got a 5-second gap between him and 3rd place Cody McKinney. So those 2 have just completely set sail. 16 trucks currently on the lead lap as we are now 10 laps to go.
With 10 laps to go, you got to think if you're Andrew Navarro, you got to have a caution, but he's already looking at the SDK Gaming Live time and scoring. Oh, a little bit of contact between the 75 and the 52 machine entering turn number 1. They're clean, though. But if you look at the stats right now, it looks like Andrew Navarro has pitted 3 times. I don't believe he has another set of Goodyear Eagles behind the wall. We all know Kenny Brady does. He's only pitted twice. So is Cody McKinney, Richie Coy, Peyton Howell, TJ Bartell, and a couple of other drivers. But I am not too sure here, Jeremy, if we do in fact get a yellow, if Andrew Navarro hasn't already taken all 3 sets of those Goodyears behind the wall.
Yeah, not entirely sure. And we see maybe more contact between TJ and Peyton there through turn 3, exits turn 4. That position still belongs to that 52. But TJ obviously with a better handling truck right now and a little bit faster through these corners. He just has to be a little more aggressive, I think, because Peyton is doing an excellent job holding his ground. TJ is going to try the top side, a little bit too much slide on corner entry, but Peyton Howell really chokes up turn 4 exit, which allows the 75 to get a huge run. Gets to the door panel and so close, still no contact. Dead heat down the back straightaways, they go to 3.
This is one hell of a battle, and this is the battle for the 5th spot. Oh, more contact made entering 3. More contact again, as you see the 75 trying to take up every piece of real estate. All the meanwhile, Peyton Howell trying to hang on to that 5th spot inside the top 5. He'll try to pinch Bartell down to the inside. Not enough. About half a truck width off the corner. They're still dead even down this back straightaway. Great racing for the 5th spot here with just 5 laps to go.
I think this time this might be the best opportunity for TJ. This is on the front straightaways. They take their 5 to go now. Pass completed for TJ, puts himself in 5th place. And look right behind him, that's 27 of Ryan Chapman, which on the chats, Diane Chapman saying, "Go, Ryan, go." Cheering him on here. He has a little mistake there going through turn 3. It's going to really bobble him up, though. He's going to lose all that ground and then some. Still slow on the front stretch. Loses about a second, really, to the 52 and the 75.
I think he just overdrove the corner right there, Jeremy, unfortunately. But still, even if he can't get back to him, a 7th place run for him. If he can, in fact, hang on to it, which, knock on wood, more than likely would, it'll be a great result for Ryan Chapman, despite the heartbreak he's had recently in the last few weeks. But here's the interesting battle. This is for a points battle for the championship. Richie Coy, Cody McKinney battling it out, coming to 2 laps to go. Can Coy maintain and try to overtake Cody McKinney, who's been so fast all night? But both these drivers have been super stout as well, coming down 2 laps to go this time by.
Remember, these are your 2 points leaders. 4 points separate these guys coming into this race with Cody McKinney having the advantage. Richie's going to try everything he can here, get aggressive. Gonna temporarily look to the inside, just there's not enough momentum on corner exit. White flag to go, sponsored by absolutely nobody, but here comes the 19, looking to the inside here of the 28, going through turn 1 and 2. Gonna have a great effort here. Kenny Brady's gonna be coming to the line here, comes off of turn number 4. This is gonna be your Martin Sports winning moment. Kenny Brady loose, saves it. Gets the checker flag, jumping back to the 28, the 19. 28 gets a better run through 3 and 4. Cody McKinney secures podium position P3.
What a drive by those guys as everybody continues to cross the line. What a drive for Kenny Brady. Thought for sure that Andrew Navarro was going to have something, but Kenny Brady loves this racetrack, loves the long run pace always. And unfortunately, he was able to outlast his buddy in front, Andrew Navarro there. And Cody McKinney and Richie Coy, they put on a hell of a battle, and so did TJ Bartell and Peyton Howell, which Bartell was able to hold off Peyton Howell. Ryan Chapman, great run for him as well, finishing in the 7th spot.
That was just a really good, solid end of this race here for the Richmond 200. Richmond, another one of those tracks that rarely seems to let down, and that was an exciting one to call for sure. But as Kenny Brady is doing the burnouts with plenty of fuel to spare, because we've had some shortcoming on fuel recently, we're going to go over the unofficial results here, presented by iRacing iFlag. And Kenny Brady taking home P1. Andrew Navarro, brand new to FTSR, is going to finish 2nd. Cody McKinney in 3rd. Richie Coy 4th. TJ Bartell in 5th. Peyton Howell finishes in 6th place. Ryan Chapman ends up in 7th. JP Burns in 8th. Curtis Vollmer in 9th. And tonight's 10th place finisher at the 42 of Kyle Milliken.
Top 20, you see Tyler Brown finishing 11th there. Alan Duranko comes home 12th, plus 14 from where he started, second biggest mover of the race. 13th, Sherwood Williford. 14th goes to Marshall Johnson. 15th, Lane Allen. 16th, Michael Blackburn. 17th, Justin Dills. And 18th, Sylvain Jolly on a night he would love to forget here from the virtual Richmond Raceway. 19th, Casey Lowe. And 20th place tonight, rounding out your top 20, Colby Mice in the number 8 Ford.
21st, Joseph McKinney. 22nd, Brandon Elder. 23rd belongs to Tony Solari. Finishing in 24th is Stephen Hollingsworth. 25th place, Brandon Gagnon. 26th, Jeff Chandler. And technically, Brody Hanna joined the session, so he'll be P27 this evening. And as 54, Kenny Brady completes his half Polish lap here, we're going to kick it to a full screen commercial break, gather up our top 3. We'll be back with you guys momentarily. And back here for the Martin Sports post-race show, we're going to gather up our top 3 and talk to them and see what their final thoughts were for this very exciting Richmond 200. Third place finisher is going to be the driver Cody McKinney of the 28 Shark Allies Broughton Kennels Toyota Tundra. Cody, do you have a copy?
I got you.
Hey, man, good, solid run for you. That was an excellent race, all race long for a lot of guys. It was very entertaining. You were mid-pack up front, duking it out for the race lead at one point. First and foremost, fitting scheme being Shark Week coming up here, if not if it's already a thing for that Shark Allies paint job. It looks very nice. But walk us through your race and how were you able to bring it home P3?
Started the race, while the sun was still out. I had to survive till darkness covered and the sun was basically gone. Just the way the setup was just built and how it handled when the sun was out. First 10, 15 laps or so ran great, but started to fall off after that. So as long as I survived until nightfall came, I knew I'd be good. And then it's just making small adjustments on pit stops and kind of adjusting how I drove.
Well, it seemed to play in your favor. You did pretty well in the daylight then, surviving it, and then you had all the speed at night. Congratulations on a solid run. You're going to extend your points lead just slightly over Richie Coy, who finished directly behind you. Nice job holding him off to keep your podium position. Final thoughts before we let you go this evening.
I just appreciate everybody for putting this together between FTSR, y'all at Nerditudes for broadcasting, everybody races, 213 Somewhere, Broughton Kennels, and Shark Allies for coming on board this week.
Appreciate all the words there, and go ahead and take that P3 with you, and we're going to catch you next week, man.
Have a good one.
You too. It's Cody McKinney, driving the number 28. And now we're going to kick it over to second place finisher. That's going to be none other than Andrew Navarro coming in here for the first race at FTSR in that Celebrity Cruises Toyota Tundra. Andrew, do you got a copy?
Yeah.
Man, you and Kenny Brady just putting on a crazy performance. You had Peyton mixing up in there, Cody McKinney also giving you a solid run for your money. First and foremost, welcome to FTSR. Second and foremost, welcome to the league. And we loved your duct tape idea. I think someone pitched it to you. I think it was, I forget who actually pitched the idea to you. And you literally slapped duct tape on the number because you didn't have a 43 paint skin. So, all in all, how'd you make it here and how'd you bring it home P2?
Yeah, it was actually Jason Rockefeller that said it before the race. So shout out to him for the duct tape idea. And yeah, just long race. I was struggling with rear chattering of the tires, and I just couldn't get off the corner. I tried to stay in front of Kenny that run, but it just didn't work. So I just, I guess I burned it up. I don't know.
Yeah, we were at some point in the race, I think about 30 laps to go. We were watching you and Kenny both on the onboard cameras presented by iRock 93.5, and you had a lot more choppiness in that wheel. Was that something that you had fought all race long, or did that just kind of happen as the sun went down?
Definitely as the sun went down, it got worse. I was feeling really good the second run, and then I did some adjustments. I don't know if it would have ultimately. I think it would have been the same circumstances. I wouldn't have won, but I definitely made it harder on myself with the adjustments that I put in because I was just chattering the rear like everywhere. And then on entry, it was getting really bad. But I think Kenny's just way smoother at the short tracks than me, so he wasn't. I don't even think he wears the front tires as bad as me too. So that's another thing. He's just. I think he's just better than me at a short track, honestly. So I was just trying to grind it out and see what I could do that second run.
There you go. Well, you did a great job nonetheless, and I'm sure Kenny will appreciate that compliment. But floor is yours, man. Final thoughts before we let you go.
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody at the broadcast team for broadcasting this, and everybody that put on the league. Celebrity Cruises, Martin Sports, Adrenaline Captures, Blade, and for making the paint scheme. Seven Seas, Celebrity Cruises, everybody at Platinum Performance, and Premier Racing Setups.
I appreciate all the words, man. And go ahead and celebrate P2 for the opening race here for you in the Martin Sports Truck Series. Hopefully, we'll see you back next week.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And that was the 43 there of Andrew Navarro. And now time to load up the Martin Sports victory lane for none other than Mr. Kenny Brady, going 2 for 2 since joining FTSR. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, guys.
That truck once again was bad fast, and just before we let Andrew go, he had said that you're just so much more smoother out these short tracks in comparison. And so was your setup just dialed in all race long? I know it was during the nighttime, super smooth wheel, but did you plan for the nighttime to be better, or were you just kind of, figuring things out as you went?
Well, earlier in the race, I was pretty tight, and I knew once the track got cooler, we were going to get looser just because the track's cooler. And I know that just from my experience racing Andrew and Peyton, but Andrew specifically, I've been racing him for a long time, so I know that he struggles with loose conditions, and he got by me with like 50 to go, and once he passed me, like 2 laps later, he slid his tires. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna back down and save my tires, and that's what I did. And then I ran him back down, and obviously got back by him. So I feel like the loose conditions really favor me because I like to drive off the right rear. So it definitely was a good time out there. I like it. I like when the truck is loose.
Yeah, I'm actually in agreement with you too. I cannot stand a tight truck. It has to be loose for me to get around the track. And yeah, just dominant performance, man. Congratulations to you on an overall just great win, back to back to start off your FTSR career. The floor is yours. Who would you like to thank before we let you go this evening?
Yeah, so obviously, it's a beautiful paint. So I have to thank Landon Mills Designs. He painted this truck last year. and I ran it in one Road to Pro race. So only got a race out of it. So it's nice to put it on another broadcast and have people see his work. So shout out Landon, Martin Sports. They've been a long time supporter of me. Obviously, they support this series. So big shout out to Scott. Nerditudes, they jumped on board for my Road to Pro campaign. So shout out Dustin and everyone over there for their support. BRTV, DJ, and everyone over at their organization, they've been longtime supporters of me. So shout out to them. And then Bladen Edwards, he paints my Road to Pro trucks. So a big shout out to Bladen. He does a lot for me. And then obviously Andrew and Peyton and everyone at Platinum Performance. That's my Road to Pro team, and Andrew builds great sets every week that I just drove on tonight. So without him and his help, I wouldn't be here.
It's super nice to have a bunch of partners to back you up, even through the Road to Pro stuff, man. But once again, congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate and enjoy the rest of the night. We will see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. That was Kenny Brady, driver of the 54. Landon Mills designed Toyota Tundra. And that was a hell of a race, Jason. What is your final thoughts of this race?
Yeah, man, what a great race. I mean, to see those two guys, Andrew Navarro debut for him, second place, and for our boy over at Nerd Motorsports, Kenny Brady starts last week, wins, starts this week, wins. So he's 2 for 2 in all his FTSR Martin Sports Truck Series starts. But good short track racing as always. Turn 4 loose as always. Turn 2 on the exit. Always the troublesome spot here at this racetrack. Still the same thing. Richmond is always so typical with guys diving into the corners in turns 1 and turns 3. This track is probably one of the most predictable, but at the same time can be very unpredictable at times, kind of like Talladega and Daytona when it comes to the short track aspect of it. I had a really fun time calling this race, and I'm looking forward to next week when these guys go to Michigan, because that's a drafting track, man. These trucks handle as if it is a super speedway when they go there. I have had an opportunity to call a race there once, and it was one of the best finishes I've ever seen. It actually involved Peyton Howell in the race as well. So hopefully we'll see him have another solid run, because it was definitely a solid run for him here tonight. And the battle, Cody McKinney and Richie Coy, that friendly rivalry, I don't really know what you call it. I mean, they don't really talk much as far as I'm concerned.
Co-opetition.
Yeah, they're putting on one hell of a battle for this championship, even though they are miles and miles ahead of the rest of the field. I had a blast though calling it tonight.
I think I've heard Dustin right. He said cooperative competition.
Co-opetition.
Co-opetition. That's a great way to put it. And Dustin, you Jason was trying to call out some extra camera work there from you. Maybe we got something in the works later on. But what was your outtake for tonight?
Yeah, you guys are always trying to keep me up on my toes. It's a good challenging thing about it. So I got to hit the books and do some homework and try to get some other things figured out. So we'll see if we can't bring some other camera angles here in the near future. But it was Richmond. I mean, what can you say about it? I mean, these FTSR guys, they put on a hell of a show. I mean, for a short track, Jason said it, best. I mean, the issues that were pretty much the only issues that brought out cautions were that treacherous turn 2, drivers getting loose coming off of that turn 2. But they could have been a lot worse than what they were. And just the way this track is designed, I mean, it's so tempting to dive bomb because you get such a good run into that corner. And it's there just kind of beckoning you to take it. And it happened a couple times tonight. But I mean, it's typical of Richmond. But I mean, the clean racing, I mean, the respect that was out there on the track. I mean, these drivers raced hard, side by side. I mean, even when there was a little bit of contact, little door scraping, I mean, they raced it clean, made the passes. And, like I said, that race to the end. I mean, your championship points contenders right now for the 2023B. I mean, side by side, duking it out to the end. Perfect ending right there to a race that was, I mean, just spectacular from the drop of the green flag.
Yeah, it was so clean and so good, especially that battle like you just mentioned. And you love to see it when you got the two guys going for points, really just, clean, solid racing all the way through. But yeah, I'm excited for next week for Michigan as well. Like Jason said too, that never fails to produce an awesome race. But we're going to have to wait till next Wednesday to check that out. We're going to close this thing down. We're going to thank our sponsors one last time. Before we do so, Full Throttle Sim Racing at FTSR.net. Get signed up today and join the action. Mach 1 Performance, the Monday Night Cup Series sponsor. It's a local fabrication shop that's produced multiple winners across multiple racing platforms and divisions. Find them at facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, your all-inclusive league points management system that does everything for you. And I think I got a keynote that they've become free momentarily. So if you want to jump on that to make your league look professional, head over to simracingpoints.com to see what they have to offer. Martin Sports at martinsports.gg. Of course, top quality apparel to make you look stylish and feel comfortable at the same time. Check out their whole product line at martinsports.gg. iRacing iFlag, get all of your notifications just a fraction of a second faster without ever leaving the action on the track in front of you. And their products are at iRacingIFlag.com. Butt Kicker, the ultimate feel from a race car with their haptic response system. And you're going to find them at thebuttkicker.com. Team Watson Racing Setups. Some of these guys at Full Throttle run their setups, and they have won races, including Richie Coy himself. So head over to teamwatsonracing.com, check out their prices and all their packages. And lastly, Roasted Gems Coffee, premium coffee beans roasted just for you. Start your day the right way with Roasted Gems at roastedgems.com. All right, guys, that's going to close it out for us tonight. We're going to catch you Monday for the Mach 1 Cup Series here from FTSRs. They're going to tackle this 3/4 mile Richmond Raceway. Until then, you guys, always get your nerd on.